So, I'm here with Jane Shapiro, who's Senior Vice President, Senior Partner at Fleischmanhillard Canada. Hi, Jane.
Hi.
Now, you're here at Fleischman, and you're in a very senior position. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are entering the business and wondering how they can get to be where you are today. How did you get to be here? What was your career path, and how did you manage to, what do you owe your success?
Well, when I started my career, there were no PR schools, or at least I wasn't aware of there being PR schools. So I got my experience coming into PR from a whole variety of backgrounds. I started out in politics, and I now say to people who come to me asking about ways to get into PR that politics was a fabulous learning ground and a proving ground. And I still recommend it highly to anybody who's starting out in their careers, despite the fact that there are now very good PR schools for kids to go to. Politics allowed me and allows young people the opportunity to do things that they would rarely get the opportunity to do in other environments. To think strategically, to think quickly, to work on issues, to write creatively, to develop relationships with reporters, to do all kinds of things at a very early stage in their career they wouldn't otherwise be able to. I also worked for two multinational corporations, two big companies, one in the pharmaceutical industry and the other in oil and gas, which allowed me to understand the business end, to understand now from PR, to understand the client's perspective, having been in their shoes. So those were wonderful learning curves for public relations and for communications, and have helped me a great deal being where I am now.
And you were in politics, you were on the corporate side. Did you do all of that before you came into the agency world, or did you move back and forth between
I moved back and forth between agency and corporate, though not in public relations. My agency work initially was in government relations. So I came to Fleischmanhillard almost 14 years ago, just as Fleischmanhillard was getting started in Canada. And had the opportunity to really become fully a communications, public relations practitioner. And because Fleischmanhillard then was just starting in Canada, there were just lots and lots of opportunities to do a great number of things. I came in and I worked in healthcare, and I worked in a whole variety of areas, but had the opportunity to start up and to grow three separate practice areas, three very distinct and diverse areas. One is a business-to-business communications practice, which over the last 6 or 8 years has really grown considerably and thrived. A corporate issues practice, which is quite distinct, and a bit unusually for a public relations firm that's sitting at the corner of Bloor and Yonge in downtown Toronto, to really grow and expand an agribusiness practice. So being at Fleischmanhillard has given me an enormous range and scope of opportunities to grow, and that's one of the reasons why 14 short years later, I'm still here.
So here you are, and you're now a senior member of the Fleischman leadership team. Fleischman is well known as one of the premier firms around the world. When you look at your colleagues and the work that you do here in Canada, what do you think makes Fleischman Canada a special place?
Well, it's really, as I think and most of my colleagues and other public relations firms would say the same thing, it's the quality of people. But because I work for a very large global company, it's also the quality of people, not just in this office, but around the world. We are a very connected company, so that I can work as easily with my colleagues in Shanghai or Paris as I do with my colleagues here in Toronto. And we do that and have the opportunity to work on clients who want that, and so it allows us to serve them well, but to really learn from the experiences and the expertise of a very large and diverse network of professionals.
A strong team backed by global resources.
Thank you.
Now, there are a lot of young people who come through our doors interviewing for jobs, and I know that we can't hire them all. If you had advice that you could give to the next group of people who might come through the door looking for an interview, about what they should do in order to be successful, both in landing their first job in PR and also successful in their career, what would that advice be?
Well, in landing that first job, which even in the very tight market for PR people that we're in today, can still be difficult. I think it is, as I talked about at the very beginning, getting experience in another related field, and everybody can get experience, for instance, in the political field. Just volunteer for a candidate, they'd adore to have you. Getting experience as a volunteer anywhere, which allows you then to have a CV and to post on the CV that you've worked on events, or you've worked on speeches, or you've worked on a campaign, to show that you've actually done something. Is enormously helpful in getting that first job, because everybody wants to know what your experience is. So look to the volunteer sector or to the nonprofit sector to get that first bit of experience is enormously helpful. And then once you are in a firm, really being open. I think about the people who have joined us as interns and who remain with us literally as senior vice presidents and who in the course of their careers with Fleischmanhillard have moved from one practice to another, from one challenge to another, from one kind of client to another, and who've done all of that without leaving us. So I think really getting some experience, being open and being willing to work hard and to learn. And I think one thing not to do, which people often do when they come in to be interviewed, is to tell me that what they really want to do is work on crisis communications at the very beginning of their careers.
And why shouldn't they do that, Jane?
Hard to think who really wants their advice when they have yet to gain any experience.
So to respect the value of experience as well as what a person might learn before they get here.
Yeah.
Okay. Jane Shapiro, Fleischman Hillard Canada, thank you very much for taking the time.
Pleasure.